morning students of class 6. This is our third video of history chapter 5. The name of the chapter is the Vedic civilization. Now students, we will see here in this video about the latter Vedic period. Latter Vedic period is also called as Aryabhat. This period had started around 1000 to 600 BC. Why this period is called latter Vedic period? Now we will see here in the next slide. Because the Aryans started moving east mainly along the Ganga and the Yamuna rivers. He wanted to occupy almost the whole part of the northern India and the northern India up to the Vindhyas in the south and Himalayas in the north. That's why latter Vedic period is also called as Aryabhat period. Next we can see the political life of the Aryans in the latter Vedic period. The kingship became more powerful in the latter Vedic period. There were hereditary form. Kingship became hereditary. There were two assemblies, Sabha and Samiti. Sabha and Samiti had lost their power in the latter Vedic period. The king performed various rituals and sacrifices. So one of them was Ashwamedh Yagna. Ashwamedh Yagna was performed by the king to expand his empire and influence. Now we will see here that what was that Ashwamedh Yagna. In that yagna, a horse followed by an army was allowed to roam freely for a year. The Rajan as king took over all kingdoms through which the horse roamed unless the horse was stopped by somebody, which led to war. Next we can see the social life of the Aryans. In the latter Vedic period, the women's positions had degraded. Their main duty was to look after their husband and children. The main duty of women was to marry and look after their husband and children. Women were not allowed to participate in any assemblies, as well as the eldest male member was the head of the family. Next we can see the religious life of the latter Vedic. The time brought about change in the religious life also. Now we can see the Durga and Kali worshipped as form of Shakti. Lord Rama and Lord Krishna were considered to be the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. The meaning of incarnation is divine power in human form. No rituals and sacrifices become very important, and killing of animals started on a large scale. Next we can see the caste system. Caste system was rigid in the latter Vedic period and hereditary also. No one could change their own caste, means nobody has allowed to change their caste. The Brahmins started dominating, but both the Brahmins and Kshatriyas had more privileges. In the latter Vedic period, according to the caste system, the Brahmins and Kshatriyas had more importance, they had more privileges than the other two castes, means other two castes like Vaishyas and Shudras. The life of the Shudras became more miserable. Now we can see the four ashrams of latter Vedic period. The ashrams were divided in four categories. The first one was the Brahmacharya ashram. Brahmacharya ashram means it was a period of disciplined life and education. The Aryans' stages of life was divided in four categories. So first one was the Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya, according to that, it was a period of disciplined life and education. Next we can see the Grihastha ashram. Grihastha was when man married and lead a domestic life. Grihastha ashram is the ashram or the life of a household fulfilling the duties and responsibilities of family life. Next we can see the Banprasth ashram. Banprasth was when man spent time in the service of others and detached himself from worldly life and went into the forest and meditated. In the Banprasth is the phase of one life in which a man slowly detaches himself from their family duties and passes them on to the next generations and start adopting the life of a hermit. Next we can see the Sannyas ashram. Sannyas ashram was when man completely left the comfort of domestic life and became an ascetic. The last stage of man's life when he gives up all worldly pleasures and often retired to the forest and fully devoted himself to the meditations and prayers are called as sannyas ashram. Next we can see the Gurukul system. During brahmacharya, students has to leave home and live in Gurukul. When brahmacharya ashram started, so students had to leave their home and they had to live in Gurukul. The Gurukul were away from the cities and closer to nature. The school were away from the cities. While staying in the Gurukul, students had to help in domestic chores. Domestic chores means they had to help in the daily tasks such as like animals, like looking after animals, cutting wood, and had to accept the Guru's decisions about everything. There was no difference between a rich and a poor students. There was no writing method also. Lessons were oral and students had to memorize large pieces of information. Subjects like mathematics, Vedas, astronomy and even military science were taught in the Gurukul system. The whole course it took about 18 years. The whole course took as much as about 18 years for completion. Now students, we will see here the short answer questions. The first one is name two assemblies which check the king powers. Name two assemblies which check the king's power during the early Vedic age. What happened to them during the later Vedic age? The two assemblies were Sabha and Samiti, powerful assembly which checked the power of the king. During the later Vedic age, the Sabha and Samiti had lost most of their powers and the Rajan became or strongest, we can say, or and powerful. Next we can say name two terrestrial, two celestial and two atmospheric gods of the early Vedic period. The two terrestrial, the two celestials and the two atmospheric gods of the early Vedic periods were: terrestrial means the god who lives on the land, like Agni and Prithvi. Celestial gods were Surya and Varun, and atmospheric gods were called Indra and Rudra. The next question is name any three yajnas performed by the Rajan. Which yajna helped the king to expand his kingdom? The three yajnas were performed in the latter Vedic period. The first one is Ashwamedh yajna, second one is Vajpayee yajna, and the third one is called Rashtriya yajna. Ashwamedh yajna helped the king to expand his empire. The next question is mention the concepts brought forward in the Upanishads. The concepts which brought forward in the Upanishads are: Upanishad says the various theories of the creation of universe and doctrine of karma are discussed in the Upanishads. Next question is who are said to have composed the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. The Ramayana composed of says Valmiki and the Mahabharata are the composed of Rishi Vyas. So composed of Rishi Vyas. So this is all for today. Thank you students.